there was a way I could pull up just the SML chat.
Right. I guess the nice thing for me is that OBS does it for me, but
Yeah. That's fine. I'll just have both streams up.
all right. Well, Bomber, we're live. I'm assuming guys are going to start trickling in as Prime has posted the link in the chat. Everybody that's in the chat, if you're in there, just give us a thumbs up on the sound once you hear me and Bomber. Hey, Bomber, this is a big one. This is the first time, somehow, some way, the success of these two guys, they've never played in a Super Bowl. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, kind of surprising. I mean, I suppose when you really dig into it, Prime usually takes the Colts, Dan the Steelers lately, so not too surprising. But prior to the last two cycles, I don't think Dan's been the Steelers, and so it is pretty surprising they haven't played together. Season one, I know Dan says it's the easiest one, but he's never won one season one, so I think it's going to be a good battle.
Yeah, and last cycle it wasn't even a possibility, right? So we've had multiple cycles where it was impossible for them to be in the Super Bowl together against each other because they were in the same conference. But that's not always been the case. It's just never aligned. And even when they're in the same conference, we've missed that big championship game between the two in the conference because one of them usually loses. I think about season one, just for myself, the one that stands out. I beat Prime to play Dan in the championship game. So it's just Madden's always found a way to keep these guys away from each other in the game.
It does seem that it's worked out that way. Like you said, the last two cycles they've been in the same conference and still really haven't had that signature championship game. So it'll be a fun one to watch. Obviously, there's been some talking in chat, and now really it's time for the talking to stop and see who's going to win.
Yeah, this is it. They are, as we're getting ready here, we'll do a quick rundown of the chat. We got Not Nice, we got Grib, we got Double Rice No Bean. Good to see him. We got Gilbert, we got Tug, we've got Nightcrawler. We got a lot of guys here that aren't even in the main SML league. That's how big of a community that has been built. That guys coming in from the primer and that have used to be in this league. Bean was in here, probably the third guy in here, so we must have notifications on.
Yep, and Johnny's in here. He's the one with spicy kimbap, whatever. Nightcrawler, that's your old foreskin, Sinzilla, whatever else he went by. But yeah, got some primer guys. CC's in here, and we're getting a lot of the pregame stuff going on, the Madden presentation here. But it looks like the Lions are going to kick.
Yeah, I'm sure Prime just absolutely loves that. So, hey, while we got a kickoff here, what is your prediction? Who wins and what's the score?
I think I predicted in AJ's prop bet 28-24 Prime. I think it's going to be close, but I think we are going to see a decent amount of scoring because defense seems to be tough since the patch.
Yeah, I went with you. I went 31-28, and I think I picked Dan. I think Dan has been playing the best Madden in the playoffs. Prime has not looked totally sharp. He let MMX come back on him. He had him on the ropes. So we'll see what happens here as Dan comes out in the pistol after a decent return on the kickoff. And Stroud makes a check. This could be a fake one. This might be a run here. Dan definitely likes to run out of the pistol. It is not. He's going to pass. He's got the slant. Nope, he doesn't have anything as he gets tackled, and it bounces off someone's head incomplete.
Yeah, one of the big things you saw there, and maybe this is a kind of something to watch going forward, but that defensive tackle got in there pretty quick. And if pass rush is going to be a thing, that could change the outcome of who's going to win if one of them gets it and the other doesn't.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. After that patch, if you get pressure, shoot, bless your lucky stars because you're probably not going to get it again for another month. Dan was in a run there. He checked out. Now he's in the shotgun making more checks. I feel like I'm watching Paulie out here for a second. And he's got the zig. He doesn't like it. He's got the post over the middle. It's Nico Collins, but it's knocked out. 3rd and 10.
Yeah, he had a corner wide open there on the right side, and he must have been looking for that route with Nico Collins coming in from the backside because he didn't even see it.
And one thing I noticed, Bomber, zigs are so good in Madden, and they have been so good for so long. Whenever someone has them on the field, I feel like they key in on that zig so much that if it's covered, they're like, oh, shoot, I didn't have a plan for if that's covered.
Yeah, both these guys are very heavy on the zigs, and if you take it away, that's when you can kind of start to get pressure on him. Prime takes a lot of sacks. I think a lot of times it's just he's focused on those when he has like his go-to route, and I think it causes him to take sacks. If there's a knock on Prime, that's probably it. But yeah, if you see it on the field, if you cover it, a lot of times you're going to get a panic throw.
And Stroud, he's going to get instant pressure with Hutchinson. And if you noticed, Prime did a stunt there.
Yeah, and that's 2 sacks on the first drive out of 3 plays. You got to be feeling really good if you're Prime right now. Dan's probably in his head thinking, he's getting pressure. I'm in trouble.
Yeah, I honestly have not used those stunts. Have you?
I throw one in there every once in a while to see if it does anything, but I haven't noticed anything special with it. I mean, I don't even know what the point of it is at this point.
Yeah, same. I don't even know the button, to be honest with you. As FaZe Akichi says that he got an ad. Well, we got to keep the lights on, bud. Sorry about that. As Milton in the shotgun, hands off to Gibbs. Gibbs untouched, still almost all the way to midfield. Somehow falls forward about 8 more yards to the 49.
And that's something I feel like we saw in both games yesterday was the running lanes really open up for these guys. And I'm assuming that's just, post-patch stuff. But both guys, run game open wide up. And Dan hasn't even run the ball yet. So maybe after seeing Prime get that type of lane, he's going to try.
Yeah, Milton again in the shotgun. Gibbs flanking right. Milton drops back, throws it right to Gibbs. He's going to make a move, gets by one man, runs right out of bounds, and gains 6.
Yeah, so far my Duck Kings lineup off to a good start with Gibbs getting some touches here. Dan's going to have to get a stop. He doesn't look like he's getting pressure, but Prime's not. You saw that was his only pass, and it's a quick dump off. So Dan better not get frustrated.
Yeah, and Prime's not going to be shy about throwing to Gibbs. That's for sure. If it's there, he'll take it. As he's in the pistol now, he's going to hand it off to Gibbs, who's going to go up the middle. A little less success this time. Runs into his center, and maybe an ode to me, and he gains 1 yard.
Yeah, I think if he went to the outside instead of the inside on that cut, I think he might have had more room, but he just ended up in that pile of offensive linemen there and ends up not getting the first.
As this looks like pistol again or shotgun, and he's got the drag wide open. There's like nobody even near Williams. That's got to be frustrating for Dan. Free first down, basically.
Yeah, he had nobody underneath, which is surprising on a 3rd and 3. I'm not sure what he was afraid of, or maybe it just didn't work. Who knows? But surprised he didn't shade underneath.
This is that X follow play that a lot of guys run. Watch that seam as Milton drops back. It's not there, but the quick dump off is. And I don't know what number 5 was doing, but nothing. It's a gain of 12 and another first.
Yeah, and that's tough. It looked like Dan clicked on there and kind of pulled him out of the play. But the way some of these pursuit angles have been, you almost have to. Otherwise, you risk him just running right by him. Unfortunately for Dan, he just did what you're afraid of happening.
We got Tug in here. We got Steel Curtain. FaZe says, I'm the offensive coordinator for the Jags. Well, probably not for long. We got Daz in here as it's a handoff to Gibbs, and he's up the middle. Short gain 4.
Yeah, not a bad run. I mean, gets him to 2nd and 6. So far, Prime having really no problem moving the ball down the field. And really, Dan's defense is what has impressed me the most during this playoff run. And we're not seeing any of it right now.
Prime with the trips right look with Gibbs flanking left. He tends to split the Gibbs and Montgomery timeshare, but probably not in the Super Bowl. As he drops back, there's that pressure you mentioned, Bomber. That's Will Anderson. That's a big sack.
Yeah, I mean, that was a race to the quarterback. You had Will Anderson on one side. Number 1, I'm not sure who that is. I don't think that's Neil Hunter. That may be Miles Murphy. I know he's an X Factor now, or a superstar now, too. So he got all kinds of pressure on that one. It was just who was going to get there first.
If you fail the first time, try again. Looks like the same formation. He's got the seam to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and if he doesn't go down, I think it's a touchdown, but he's to the 1.
Yeah, I think he saw that safety coming over and thought he might be taking a big hit. So rather than risk the drop there, just go ahead and possession catch it.
Now he has to get the toughest yard in Madden. I think it was Dan had 1st and goal from the 1 against Pauly and couldn't get it in, right? Am I remembering correctly?
Yeah. Prime had one where he was stopped 4th and 1 yesterday, but not this time.
Well, saves the drama. First play, touchdown Gibbs. 7-0 Lions pending the extra point. I think we have a non-field goal block agreement here. Or actually, I don't even think he is allowed to block that one anyway. So
No, not yet. Not till the fourth quarter.
So Dan comes out, pass, doesn't even gain a yard. And Prime comes up, goes down the field pretty much unchallenged. What's Dan going to do here?
I think he's got to go to the run. I think the worst thing he could do in this situation is go to the pass again and have a quick turnover on downs. He's got to get the run going and get some type of like sustained drive going here.
Yep, and I think, knowing Dan, he knows there's a lot of game left. He's not going to feel like he has to get all this back at once. As Mixon is behind Stroud here, it's another pass. Maybe we're both wrong. He's got the corner, but it's underthrown, and it's tipped, and he still hasn't gained a yard in 4 plays.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, now that time you saw Prime kind of brought everybody into the box, made it a little unfavorable for a run, but you got to get something going on the ground. You're already, now it's 2nd and 10. If you give it back to Prime after just 6 plays on offense, you're in trouble.
Yep, absolutely. He's going to come out in shotgun. Obviously, that doesn't mean anything as far as guaranteeing a pass. Prime, a little unsure on what he wanted to call. I'm not sure if he got his call in or not, but he's going to stick with whatever is on the field. Stroud with Mixon to the left, makes a check. It's another pass. The zig is there, but he's going to get sandwiched for a gain of 6.
Yeah, not a bad play, but if you saw that in was coming open because Prime's user was following the zig, like we said, take that away. And Dan just laser focused on it. Fortunately, though, for him, he completes it.
Yeah, so Dan gains his first yards of the game. Still has not ran the ball. If you're keeping score at home, that's 5 passes to 0 rushes. Prime with another stunt. Looks like maybe he does that on 3rd downs. And his whole entire line is superstar or better. That's crazy. Drops back. Dan doesn't have much open here. He's going to loft a ball into double coverage and just get his guy killed. It's incomplete, and he's got a punt again.
Yeah, I'd have rather he taken the seam down the middle. We had one-on-one there with, I think, Elijah Higgins. I just don't know. The game plan doesn't make sense to me. Every time I've played Prime, if I have success, it's because I just stick to the run and run the ball. Trying to pass on him, it's not working, and he hasn't even attempted a run.
Right, and now he's put himself in a situation, obviously he could run the next drive and get out of it, but, if he needs to start passing later in this game, but he's going to have to run to get ratio. So very interesting by Dan.
Yeah, and the longer he goes without throwing a pass or without running the ball, the more likely Prime's going to just sit on the run because he knows one has to be coming.
Exactly. As we get a stretch right with Gibbs that goes for 2, and it's 2nd and 8 for Prime. Bean asking.
Yeah, I'm just going right back to the run. Just continue to grind this out. I mean, he had no issues running the ball. I would just sustain this drive, get in Dan's head that he's turned it over twice fast, and then I think you're going to win the mental battle there.
Bean asked if 70-30 is no longer a rule. I guess that depends on who you ask, but it's 75-25 now. As Milton to Gibbs again, who's just an absolute workhorse so far. 3rd and 2, big 3rd down for Dan.
Yeah, the only thing that concerns me, though, he does keep going to Gibbs, and he's being effective. But in the NFC Championship game, we saw Gibbs miss the majority of the second half with wear and tear. So I wouldn't want him to get injured or worn out too quick.
As Milton here in the shotgun again, he's got trips to the right. He's got Amon-Ra on the corner. He's going to find it, and he sits down perfectly. Big play, 1st down.
Yeah, he was wide open. The corner came up, tried to take away the drag. And as soon as he came up, that's when Prime launched it to the corner. Easy completion there.
Yeah, that's a tough one. This looks like one guy has all the answers and the other guy doesn't have any. But again, we're only in the first quarter, guys. We've seen things flip pretty quickly as Prime looks through his wear and tear. Hands it off to Gibbs, who's untouched again. A little juke left, doesn't do much, but a big 1st down again.
Yeah, another giant running lane there for Gibbs, and that's going to be a problem for Dan. And for some reason, he hasn't seen the success running the ball enough to try it.
Yeah, I mean, the middle is just wide open. Gibbs isn't even getting touched until he's 13, 14 yards downfield. That's just demoralizing.
Yeah, and you can see that Prime, since we're on Prime stream, we can see that he's checking his wear and tear. So he's well aware of who's fresh in the game.
Yep, so 7-0 after the first quarter. Prime with the ball here, driving and within field goal range. He's going to hand it off again. Gibbs gets a little bit room, but jukes into the defender, gets pushed forward. I'm sure Dan loved that. Gain of 8.
Yeah, if he just stayed inside, I don't know why he juked it to the outside, but he had I think 6 there.
Yeah, and that went from a touchdown to a 5-yard gain to being pushed forward to an 8-yard gain. Yeah, quite a bit going on there. Dan has complained about the falling forward since the last patch. He won't like that. But Prime in the trips again with Gibbs out left, and just look at all these guys you have to defend when you go against the Lions. Gibbs is caught on the line, and that might have thrown Prime off. He throws it incomplete.
Yeah, I think he was waiting for Gibbs, and when he wasn't there, he tried to hit that little crossing route, or I guess it's kind of a crossing route. But he was double covered. He's probably lucky it didn't get the throw off.
Oh, yeah. Prime loves the 4 verts with that little delay halfback flat route that's just usually wide open. But Gibbs couldn't get through the line there, and it's a run here for Gibbs, and he's going to get suplex there. That might have been Miles Murphy. 4th and 1. What do you do, Bomber?
Miles Murphy there with the stop. 4th and 1. The way Dan's been throwing the ball, not doing anything, I kick it. It's just it puts you up 2 scores. Dan's having trouble getting 1 first down, so I think you take the 3 points here.
If you, oh my goodness, is he going to make? Oh, he does squeak it in the right upright. That was close.
Yeah, just snuck that in, but that's going to give him a 2-score lead, and right now I think he feels really good with that. The way Dan's played offense.
Now Prime running an inside zone on 3rd and 2. 99.9% of my life, that's been a setup to go for it on 4th. But you think he kicked it because Dan can't do anything on offense, right?
Yeah, I think it's just you just feel confident that your defense is playing well. Get the points, make it 2-score. If you go for it. He did get stopped on a 4th down just last night. So if you get stopped there, you let Dan have life again.
Absolutely. We got QP in the chat. Tom is here, or Trick as you guys know him. Let's see. Gilbert's still here. Damon is back in the house. NYT, probably from the carnival. As Stroud, another pass. This time it's a drag to Nico Collins. It's complete. 2nd and 2. The Texans have yet to run the ball.
Yeah, it blows my mind. I played Dan in the Super Bowl, and I don't think he threw the ball more than he's thrown the ball this game already.
Yeah,
the funny thing is he's not having success. If he was, flying down the field with the passing game, it would make sense. But he's got one first down.
There, he finally runs it. It's a trap, and he gets pushed forward and does get a first down out of that somehow.
Yep. I thought he was short, but they give it to him.
Now, I never thought I'd say this about Dan, especially in a Super Bowl. You don't think he's trying to prove something, do you, by passing the ball?
I don't think so. I think he believes that Prime thinks that he can't throw the ball and isn't worried about it, so he's going to try to focus on the run.
Well, he hits another drag to Nico Collins for a big gain there, up to the 49-yard line. Little bit of life out of the Texans.
Yeah, Collins wide open there. He was able to pick up the first down. It's his 3rd first down now of the first half, so maybe he's getting a little something going.
QP complaining about how I said his name. Nice to know he still complains about everything. Let's see. We got Tug in here. Tough loss for Tug, but he'll be back. He was in the AFC Championship game last night against these Texans.
Yeah, and that was a good game for the first 3.5 quarters. And then Dan kind of ran away with it after a lot of the turnovers.
Yeah, score was not indicative of how close that game was. As here's an 0-1 trap, and he does get pulled in from behind, gain of 3, but Dan is starting to run the ball a little bit.
Yeah, and going back to that game last night, that's kind of the reason, or at least partially, why this is so surprising that he's going through the air so much. He had so much success running the ball, and he just got away from it to start this game.
Well, and Dan is like me, he doesn't have he's not gonna have the explosive offense that Prime has. So by running the ball, you shorten the game. But Dan has not been doing that. So it's really just an interesting game plan. And we will talk to these guys after the game. So questions we can ask. As Stroud is in the shotgun, making checks. He's got the corner route, but he throws it to the Lion defender. Basically, he's lucky that wasn't picked.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like Prime basically ran the route for him, and he still threw it.
Big third down here. This is not field goal range. He cannot go for it in the current situation that is presented here. So 3:38 left on the clock, and Prime kicked the ball. So if Prime gets it back here, he can get his patented 2-for-1, and that would be really dangerous if you're a Texans fan.
Yeah, now as long as Dan picks up about 3-4 yards, he can go for it. Again, we see him throwing, and
He's got nothing. He's going to get picked. This might be a pick six. It's Owens to the 40. He's going to get caught, maybe. Yep, up to the 25. Almost looked like he wanted to get caught. As Nico Collins brings him down to the 22, but the Lions are back in business.
Yeah, Dan, a lot of underneath stuff. We even saw earlier he kind of didn't even look at the corner route that was wide open. I don't know. He seems to be playing a weird type of conservative passing, but no running. I don't really understand what he's doing.
Yeah, this is very uncharacteristic of Dan. Has, again, Gibbs untouched. He's going to go untouched to the house. One play, one touchdown, 17-0 Lions.
Yeah, could have drove a bus through that hole that he had, and just every time that he has a big run like that with Gibbs, it just blows my mind more and more that Dan has not even used the running game at all.
Yeah, if Dan doesn't score here in the next drive or two, we're going to turn on the Cubs and the Padres MLB playoff game for you guys. But we're going to give Dan a chance here as Prime kicks off. Dan's going to return this one. Maybe he can get a spark there. Nope. Guy just gets lit up at the 19-yard line.
All right, so it looks. I mean, he's got plenty of time here. Problem is, Prime's going to get the ball to start the second half, and you also have the ratio stuff to worry about. So I'm interested to see what Dan does here on this drive.
Yeah, pistol. This is usually halfback zone week, at least last year, as a big play by Hutchinson there gets Mixon from behind, and it's a 1-yard loss.
Yeah, I know Dan likes them, but I don't really like the pistol runs this year. I feel like I don't have as much success, especially out of that one where he didn't even have a tight end in the block.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of guys, when I played Gutta, he liked to spread me out and run up the middle, like with 4 wide receivers, with trips like that. But Prime just came out in 4-3 and said, I dare you. And it worked out. As Stroud in the shotgun, he's going to motion the tight end to the left. Snaps the ball, little in route that Prime reads perfectly with Jack Campbell. Can't get the pick, but makes the tackle immediately.
Yeah, another short pass. I mean, there was nothing open deep, so it's not like he ignored anything, but it just feels like he's really focusing on the short game.
Yeah, now a big third down, because if he doesn't convert here, he's got a punt, and Prime's going to have plenty of time to get that 2-for-1 that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I mean, we're just this play should get us the 2-minute warning. But 3rd and 7, if he doesn't pick it up, this is perfect for Prime.
Stroud back. He's got, and he makes Nico Collins jump, and he can't make the play. He's got a punt.
Yeah, couldn't hold on to the dive. Those ones are tough. I feel like they're probably less than 50% you come down with. But just a tough day for Stroud so far, and Dan's sticking with it.
Yeah, and that is a ball you expect Stroud to throw better, but a ball you also expect Nico Collins to catch, getting both hands on it.
What surprises me is we know Dan's got he's basically got a ratio problem at this point. He's in a passing situation. Run the ball when Prime's looking for the pass. I mean, it just he's throwing into everything that Prime's looking for.
Absolutely, as we do see Montgomery in the game, maybe Gibbs getting that late end of half rest, and then halftime to come out fresh in the second half. And why not? You're up 17 with the ball, and you get the ball after half.
Yeah, at this point, I'm keeping my running backs fresh because as long as I can not make mistakes, really, this should be Prime's game.
And we are in the pistol here with Milton. Dan covers that corner that drag really well, but the X factor, Jamison Williams, lays out for that ball. This one's caught. Big play from a big play receiver all the way to the 10.
Yeah, you saw Dan's guy drop the dive. Williams comes down with it and brings it all the way in at the 10. That's a huge play. And then now, I mean, Prime can just run the ball. If he gets in, he gets in. If he doesn't, he burns most of the clock.
Yeah, frustrating for Dan. He covered that drag so well, and then all of a sudden, boom, Jamison Williams running free down the sideline. Prime, tick, tick, tick. No fear letting that clock run down to 1 second. Montgomery up the middle, gains 2.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm Prime, I almost don't even care if I score a touchdown here. I want to burn the clock more than anything. I'm not. I'm trying to give Dan as few possessions as possible.
Yep, I think you're absolutely right. I don't think Prime is hurt about that 2-yard gain at all. As we are under the 40-second mark, Dan declined to use a timeout there. He's going to snap it with 1 second again. It's going to go to Montgomery, going to shake left, gets tackled by 2 guys, and this time a timeout by Dan, I believe.
Yep, Dan took the timeout there, so and trying to get the ball back. I mean, it's 3rd down. He could get a stop here. Um, but now if I'm Prime, 28 seconds, I'm probably going to try and take a shot at the end zone here. You're going to take the timeout, so you're going to stop the clock anyway. I'm going to try and get 6.
You think he's taking a shot here?
I do.
He's in the shotgun. He's going to motion Amon-Ra to the right. He's going to throw a little touch pass here, which technically that is a pass. And he gets down to the 3-yard line, and Dan burns his second timeout.
Yeah, that's one of the ones you got to watch for Prime on the goal line. I mean, it's that, the RPO, and the scat player are really his big goal line plays, and Dan kind of all over that one.
So I've seen Prime run that a few times. Why does he not put Jamison Williams in that position to get the ball there as opposed to Amon-Ra?
I don't know. I'd have to look. Maybe Amon-Ra has better carry or better change of direction.
Okay.
If your plan isn't to go completely to the sideline and maybe you want to cut it inside like we saw him do there, maybe you want a guy with better agility or something like that, like juke move or I don't know.
It could be. Yeah, definitely. Or maybe
Carry
he's...
can be a big thing too because you really don't want to fumble inside the 5.
I will say when I've seen those jet sweeps, they were a little bit more common last year. I was hit sticking like a fool because you connect, those guys will drop it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Grimm says run to avoid ratio, and I don't think he's wrong here.
I don't think he's wrong either. I actually like that idea, but Dan doesn't. As he drops back, he's got a seam, but that's covered. It's picked. It's Brian Branch, excuse me. I'm dating myself there. Branch to the 30, to the 25, 24-yard line, and he's in field goal range to get another score.
Yeah, I mean, and at this point, if I'm Prime, well, it looks like he's lining up to throw it, but he can do whatever he wants at this point. Dan's down 3 scores. It's about to be, if he gets 3 here, 23, so still 3 scores, but just you can't win the game in the last 29 or in the 29 seconds before half, but you can lose it, and that's about what he did.
Whoa, Gibbs just fast forwarded when he moved left there to the outside. I actually thought my stream froze and then caught up or something, but 2nd and inches from the 14, 7 seconds, 2 timeouts for Prime.
Yeah, that looked like one of those little NCAA speed boosts that you used to see last year. I don't know if that's a thing this year, but clearly it made its way into Madden.
Yeah, that was a little weird. And here we go. Prime, is he content with 3? I can't tell what he's deciding to do here. Looks like...
I mean, it looks like an RPO if you get it.
Oh, is this the pop?
Don't take your field goal.
Is this pop? Like it is. He hands it off to Gibbs, who gets the first down. Not that really matters. 2 seconds left. He's probably going to kick it here.
Yeah, I think he had it too. If he would have thrown to the tight end, it looked like Dan was moving inside to take away the run.
And he makes it. It is 23-0 Lions at half. Raise your hand if you saw this one coming, and I better not see any hands raised. And Prime's going to get the ball.
Yeah, no, I saw Prime scoring 23. I think I had him at 28, but I didn't have Dan at 0. I had him at 24, so he's got a ways to go, and I don't think Prime's going to only get 5 this half.
Yeah, and Dan made one of those errors that we talk about a lot on not Dan streams, where you're just not winning at anything, and you're down multiple scores, and there's a very few seconds left in the first half, and then you throw a pick and you basically lose the game. That's just not something Dan does.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I think the start 17-0 down got in his head.
Yeah, even the best can get rattled, and I will say this is probably the worst I've maybe ever seen Dan play. So if he is rattled, I can understand why. Prime says kill shot. He's going to go play action. Williams is covered. He doesn't have much. He's got circle, but he's going to have to throw it away with a little jump throw there from Milton. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Prime can just kind of play loose and do whatever he wants as long as he doesn't turn it over. So rather than force something there, just throw it away. If if you don't score another point, you probably still win this game.
Yeah, here's Chargers cross, Prime staple. He's got, good pressure from Will Anderson there. 3rd and 10, Prime here. 2 straight passes to start the second half, both incomplete.
Yeah, Anderson finally getting in there. Haven't seen that since really early in the game. That'll help Dan, but unless he's forcing turnovers, I think he's going to be in trouble.
And we got a timeout here, maybe from Dan. Yep, he did not like something.
Yeah, whatever he saw, he can't afford to give up a big play here. Really needs a stop, so might as well burn that timeout now.
Yeah, if he makes a comeback, we might need to bookmark that. It could have been costly as we get Tesla in motion here. And I don't see much open. Amon-Ra does come open late, but it's 4th and 1. If you're Dan or you're a fan of Dan, hey, you got to stop.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he needed to happen. So to me, that timeout was worth it. If you come back from down 23-0, you're going to need more than just that one timeout at the end anyway. So if that was going to get you the stop, you might as well burn it because that stop was really important.
Yeah, that bounce was unfortunate as he probably lost 12, 13 yards on the bounce. As chat thinks it's over, we got Dan might just want to run this game out, Tug says.
Dan
Smokey
might have
says
to run
throw in the
this game
towel.
out.
Yeah. You don't want to lose the game and get suspended at the same time. As Nico catches that high ball, 1st down Texans.
Yeah, another catch, but like we said, the ratio is going to be a problem here. Unless he just says screw it. But I mean, it's not even a close game. It would be tough to lose and lose on ratio, like you said.
Oh, Hutchinson meets Mixon at the handoff, but Mixon shrugs him off. All that for no gain.
Yeah, I don't like the running out of I form at this point. You're down 23-0. At least make him think you're going to throw the ball. He already knows that you're way behind on ratio.
Yeah, tricky situation for Dan because he definitely knows he has to run the ball, but he's also down by 20, or 23, excuse me. So what do you do here? Stroud is going to run the ball. Mixon makes a couple of moves, probably his best run of the game. Big 1st down there, up to the 45.
Yeah, I mean, with ratio being 75-25, it's not that hard to get back in it. I mean,
Right.
Three runs in a row, and now you just bought yourself like 12 pass plays. So it's not that hard to get back in it. The problem is going to be he's got to get yards.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is very difficult to break ratio because of how lenient it is. As Stroud doesn't see anything, tries to break up the middle there as the pocket broke down. Gain of 3.
Yeah, one thing that's standing out to me is Hutchinson. KP says it in chat that he's come in on a few runs. Just the way he got off the block there and was able to chase down Stroud before he could turn it into anything big. He's been a real difference in this game.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I saw a tweet that KP was on the sidelines for Dan, and SML rules do not permit cell phones on the sidelines during games, so maybe KP's beating traffic. As he throws an out route and just gets the hospital ball, incomplete, 3rd and 7.
Yeah, Prime all over that. I mean, that's a Prime staple. He's going to have at least one corner in a hard flat. And he was all over that one.
Well, and he had the sit down right in front of his face. So Dan's nothing's going right for the guy in this game, and I think we've all been there before.
Yeah, I mean, there's just games where you just don't see anything, and that's kind of what it feels like in this game. That he's just not seeing what's open. He's locked in on something, and I mean, down 23-0 in the Super Bowl, knowing that everybody's watching.
There's a nice little in route to Nico Collins. Didn't have to dive for that one. Great throw, great catch, 1st down.
Yep, another pass play.
It's funny what you said about, sometimes you just don't see the field, but I swear, when I commentate these games or I'm watching a stream, just a regular stream, I feel like I see every open receiver, but as soon as I got the controller in my hand, I can't see anything. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it feels like that all the time.
As a bunch of slant routes, he's got one that came free there to Noel, and he's got a big first down there. The Texans showing a little bit of life.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes down and scores, gets 8, now it's only a 2-score game, and you have almost half the third quarter and the entire fourth quarter. It's not over, but it doesn't look good just by the way the offense had been playing. If we can kind of get it in gear, we might be okay.
So you going for 2 on if you score a touchdown on for the first
Every
one?
single time.
Okay, every single time.
Yeah.
He's got nothing open. Prime just covered that drag and another sack. Prime is getting pressure, and we talked about that earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the reason I would go for it for 2 every time is possessions. You're down 3 if you get all 3 2-point conversions. You're probably not getting a fourth possession.
Yeah, and unless it's week 7, Prime is very, very good at managing the clock. And speaking of pressure, Hutchinson off the edge, another big play by Hutch, and 3rd and 26 for Dan.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know Prime even said something about maybe a shadow patch. We've seen Will Anderson, we've seen Miles Murphy, and we've seen Hutchinson, as well as one of his defensive tackles. They may both be superstar. I'm not sure which one. But we're seeing some pressure.
Another stunt from Prime, and it works. Is that McNeil? That is McNeil. Everyone's joining the fray. And another sack.
Yeah, I mean, just literally on cue, we're seeing pressure. So maybe a good sign for something that maybe got tuned without an actual patch. I don't speak nerd, so I don't know how they do it at EA, but.
So Dan went from the 21-yard line to the 44. Now he's trying a 61-yard field goal. He shakes it left and short.
Yeah.
That was just a desperation move, right?
Yeah, I think it had to be. That's basically it. If I'm Dan at this point, you just don't know what to do. Nothing's working. You have to run now. You can't pass anyway. Prime knows you got to run. You're in a really bad situation.
And it's Gibbs up the middle, gain of 1, but I don't think Prime cares. That clock is ticking. Under a minute and a half left in the third.
Yep, if I'm Prime, I'm not worried about, or numbers I'm worried about are on the clock, not the scoreboard at this point. I'm taking as much time off each time. Obviously, points are what you want, but it's burning clock. No quick drives.
Whew. Gibbs is shifty, man. He looks bottled up, cuts to the left, and that speed and acceleration, he cuts across the first down. And it's a 1st and 10 for the Lions as we're under a minute in the third quarter. Prime already in field goal range.
Yeah, one thing that stood out to me this year, generally Prime isn't a very efficient runner as far as yards per carry. He's usually right in the 4-5, even with Jonathan Taylor. So far, season 1, of the guys that have over 100 carries, Gibbs is number 2, and he's over 7 yards per carry.
Wow.
So significant improvement for Prime's running game.
And he's like 22 or 23 years old. As we get a Laporta zig route, first down, and we saw an injury there, and it was Cansey. I think that's the defensive tackle he got from the Rams. Speaking of Buccaneers, excuse me.
At a significant discount. I think he got the 2nd or 3rd for him, and that guy's going to be a cycle player.
Absolutely. And that's the end of the third quarter. No scoring in that third quarter, but Prime is okay with that. He leads 23-0 with the ball in Dan's territory. A shocker in Super Bowl 75.
Yeah, I mean, Dan may be right. He did say that Super Bowl 1 or the first season was the easiest, and this does not look difficult for Prime.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be funny. I don't know if Dan's going to... Oh, my goodness. Will Anderson just absolutely murdered. Was that Montgomery?
That was Montgomery. He put him in. We are seeing a lot of sheds from the superstar guys. Obviously, that's most of their defensive line on both sides, but so far, a lot of sheds for the stud guys.
Yeah, you beat me to it. As Prime's going to throw an RPO here to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Nice adjustment there by number 45. I think that's Christian Harris. And that is a good tackle, 3rd and 9.
Yeah, good stop for Dan. Um, Field goal here would be it doesn't really help him too much. 26 makes it a four-score game, I guess. Dan's no way he's getting four possessions unless Prime gives him a couple.
Yeah, and there's a rush. That gets Gibbs to 100. 4th and 5, but Prime does not care. The clock's moving. He's going to put another 3 on the board. And Dan has to run at some point. I think that if he just goes pass heavy, he's going to have a broken ratio here.
Yeah, I know you want to play to play to the end, but I think the end has already come. So at this point, you might just want to run it a couple times, stay in ratio or get back in ratio, I guess. And then maybe you throw every third down or something.
Kickoff return goes absolutely nowhere to the 19. We've seen that before already. This game seems to be the sweet spot. Here comes Dan checking his ratio.
Yeah, he's gonna have some work to do.
And I always do this too. If my opponent pauses for ratio, I look at their ratio too. Because if they're worried about it, I want to see, does he have to run the ball?
I didn't see. It looked like 16 pass attempts.
Was that 4 runs?
Yeah, he'd only need 4 runs to be in ratio. Or no. 4 would get him 12 passes.
Maybe that was Prime. Maybe Prime was checking his own ratio. But I expect Dan to run the ball here. Yep. And it's Mixon going absolutely nowhere.
I would assume you'll see kind of a 50-50 split this last quarter from Dan. And that should easily put him back in ratio.
And Bean asked if Aleem is an X factor. No, he's a superstar, but probably won't be long. As another run from Mixon, this time untouched. Maybe Dan should have tried this earlier. First down.
Yeah, I mean that's the first thing I'm going to ask him when we get him in here after the game is why the pass heavy start, because run game has been so good since the patch, and just ignore it. Just surprised me.
Another quick pass to Nico Collins, who gets hit by Jack Campbell right away. Gain of 6 as we tick under 4.5 left in this Super Bowl 75.
Not nice as Dan abandoned the run early. He didn't even start the run early. He started 7 straight passes?
Yeah.
It was
another run by Mixon, another first down. We're under 4 minutes here. I think Dan's trying to not give up, but also knows he has to run the ball as he comes out in bunch with Mixon to the right. Stroud's going to drop back to throw. He's got the drag. He hits it. It's Higgins, and he gets an 8-yard gain.
Yeah, nice little completion there. You see him running the hurry up here. 322, it's really not going to matter.
He's got Mixon in the flat, and he checks it down. Nice little gain there for Mixon. He's up to the 37, and Bean says, I cannot imagine how bad Prime wants this shutout. Oh, you know it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're Dan, you want to get on the board, but I feel like the field goal kick at the end to bust the shutout, huge run here.
Geez, Dameon Pierce just leveled that guy with a knockout punch, and big gain for Dameon Pierce. First carry of the game.
Yeah, I feel like the field goal kick at the end of the game, like break up the shutout. You should probably feel worse than if you got shut out at that point, because like then I know I got in your head with a shutout. Like you can't say it didn't bother you, or
right?
Like,
Stroud drops back to pass. He doesn't have much. He takes off, splits 2 defenders that just decided to stare at him. Gain of 7.
Yeah, I guess they weren't sure where the line was. They kept waiting.
Dan with the hurry up. He's going to drop it down to Mixon. He's done a good job of handling the ratio here. Hutchinson makes the tackle, but he's at the 1, first and goal. Khalil Mack looks very shaken up, very reminiscent of his real life injury.
Yeah, I'm sure he's well inside ratio now. But under 3 minutes, it's going to be really tough.
There it is. The Texans are on the board. The shutout is over. 26-6 as Mixon falls into the end zone there.
Yep. And really, the way he ran the ball that drive, he's got to be second-guessing his start to this game.
Yeah, I don't know if Dan will admit it. He might say, "Oh, Prime was playing with his eyes closed on that last drive because it was over," but he definitely should have ran the ball more.
Yeah. Prime checked Dan's ratio. He knew he had to run.
Oh,
It's not like
absolutely.
he was sitting back on the pass. He knew the run had to come.
Onside kick, last ditch effort there. Unsuccessful. Lions take over at the 44 with 2:47 left. Spooky says, "Love Dan, but my God, this is hard to watch."
Yeah, this has not been the game we expected. And there's
And
Gibbs.
Gibbs breaks free. We'll see what Prime wants to do here. Oh, he's going to be nice. He's going to
Oh,
fall
Prime's
down at the
playing for
7.
Duck Kings. He should have gone in. I needed those 7.
That is true. I don't think Prime can win the game and Duck Kings,
Nope.
but maybe he's trying.
Yeah, luckily Dan didn't throw a lot of pick sixes because that would have been the only way I think he could have got me.
As this is probably going to end it. I don't see Dan calling timeouts here.
Yeah, it would have been fitting for Dan to or for Prime to run that in though after Damon did one last cycle on him. Prime does it to his dad.
And Milton does kneel the ball. Dan's only got 2 timeouts. I just don't see him using one. I think he's going to lose with grace here. And a couple more kneel downs after this, and the Lions will be Season 1 of Madden 26, Super Bowl 75 champions in a very...
Yeah, I would say that's probably the least surprising outcome. Could have happened as soon as draft night happened and he took the Lions. I think everybody knew season 1 was going to be a Simbardi for the Lions.
Yeah, I would be shocked if anybody saw it happening like this. I'm very curious. Yeah. Maybe AJ will put the scores out without any names, but I'm very curious if anybody had a score like this, even close. The way Dan was playing.
I was only 2 points off. I had Prime at 28. Dan was the surprise.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay tuned. We will be calling both of these players. I will drop Bomber from the call. I will then bring Bomber and the 2 competitors back. We'll have a little chat. I assume Dan will show up. Of course, it's always their choice if they want to come. They did agree before the game, so we'll see here as Milton will take... He doesn't have to take a knee. This game is over. We'll tick under 5. 3, 2, 1, and there you go. The confetti will rain. Where are we, Bomber? What stadium is this?
Yeah. Couldn't even tell you. Looks outside.
It does look outside. Maybe it's Miami. There you go. You got Branch pointing at the ring finger. The Lions are Super Bowl champions. Let's get the overlay back on here. We'll get these 2 guys in here momentarily. I'm going to drop Bomber real quick. All right. Everybody, Can you hear me? We got Dan in here.
Yep, we're back.
Got Bomber. Sounds like we've got everybody in here. Wow. That was an interesting game. Thanks for joining us, you guys. We appreciate you joining. Dan, we will start with you, as we generally do start with the one who fell short. We appreciate your time and grace coming in here. I would just want to start before we ask you some very important questions. What's your overall thoughts on that game?
Well, early on, it definitely... Prime caught me in some quick snaps, and I didn't get on the right defenders. That 3rd and 18 was one of them. Whenever, I forget which run he had, but my line it was like the biggest hole I've ever seen in my life, and I was just out of it. So from that point on, it was just me trying to stay in ratio and try to score at some point, so I didn't get shut out. But I honestly think if I made probably about 2 really bad throws, but if I would have played perfect, I don't think I beat Prime 10 out of 10, given the way that game was played. It's one of those things where you just, hey, hats off to Prime, he did what he did, but it also just feels like I didn't get a fair shot.
Bomber, I bet we have the same question, so I'm going to let you go first.
All right, yeah, I'll ask it because it kind of blew our mind. I mean, we talked about it as soon as the game was progressing through the first quarter. Why did you go so heavy, or what was behind the choice to go so heavy in the pass game to start? You said that Prime had holes to run through. I feel like That's kind of been the theme since the patch, and you went straight to the air for like 6 straight passes. We're just wondering what your thought process was
Well,
on that.
well, he loaded up the box, so there's 8 in the box. And my point at that point is I want to take advantage of that as I can. And honestly, I think I had the stuff. I just didn't have the time. And then when I did run, I ran a yard or two. I mean, I I I don't think there was the opportunity. And again, I did not play my best by any means. Um, but it just felt like I didn't have any opportunities to do much. I think, when I checked stats, I had like 5 carries for 9 yards. And
Yeah,
it
that
was
was gonna
just
be my
like,
next
okay.
question. When did you start to get concerned about ratio?
The second half, I started the second half just because I knew the way that I started, and I knew the way the game was going, and I really didn't feel like I had a shot, and so I don't know when it was the end of the third or something. I just started. I got to make sure I have ratio. I got to make sure that I score. Those were my only 2 goals starting the second half because it just felt. And again, it could be just my own perception, okay, but it just felt like when I went to throw, I got hit. It went, um, and even missing some of my assignments defensively, being on a safety a few times, being on the D line when a few times, it just I was just out of it.
Yeah, Dan, before we let you go, I got one question. The end of the half, you got the ball with, I think, under a minute left. And Bomber is notorious for making this quote of, you can't win the game here, but you can lose it. And you ended up throwing an interception, I think, on the first play, and Prime got points. That's not something that we're accustomed to see someone of your caliber doing. Were you just frustrated at that point and saying, I'm just going to chuck it and see if something happens?
Kind of. I knew he'd get the ball the second half, and again, with Prime with a lead, he's got all the tools, all the ability to milk that. So I'm looking for some kind of almost a home run swing. Um, I don't even think I had one timeout, 20 some seconds left. To me, an interception there didn't change the game, but a touchdown could have. So I'm gonna take a shot.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for joining us, Dan. You win with class, you lose with class. We appreciate you joining us. If you want to say something to Prime, we'll let you say it. But once you leave, we'll bring Prime in.
No, I just wish I gave a better game. Um, I feel like it took away from any part of games that we've had in the past. And again, I might be sour grapes with what I'm feeling like, but we're just right after the game, so at least I know Prime won't give me hey, send someone better like Stavo did. So I'll respect Prime on that.
Good game, man. I appreciate that.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dan.
You don't have to patronize me. You don't have to patronize me. You don't
Hey,
have to
you know
tell me
what?
good game.
Send
I get
send
that.
send me Gilbert. Send me Gilbert. Send me someone better. No, I'm just kidding. Good game.
That's
man.
like total access here. Let's wait for that, guys. Dan, thanks a lot. Prime, welcome. You've been here before, but hey, winning the Super Bowl never gets old. It's always special. You win the first one against your arch rival, Dan. How do you feel?
It feels good. It feels really good, actually. Probably my one of my more favorite Super Bowl wins. The one against Stavo was special due to the situation, but I have a high level of respect for Dan as a person and as a player. He actually, there, I try to play with my brain, and he's one of the few people that I feel like can match me when it comes to football IQ and defensive and offensive and situational IQ. So uh, to beat him in a Super Bowl means a lot.
Yeah, I will bring in Bomber in a second. I just want to ask you one question to start, and then we'll let Bomber ask his. To the flip side of what we asked Dan, did it surprise you that he came out so pass heavy?
Yeah, I was a little surprised. So me and him had a playoff game that he doesn't let me forget about, the one in overtime that I blew with intentional grounding, and I had started off with a big lead in that game, and I kind of my goal was to take away the running game and the short passes and make them beat me downfield. But the thing about Dan is he's similar to you in the effect that you know what's coming, but you can't stop it. And when he didn't get his passes down the field early, and I got the ball and I scored, I felt really, really, really good because then Dan couldn't. He's at his best when he's got the lead, and he didn't have that. So I felt in control at that point.
Bomber, what do you got?
Yeah, you said you felt in control at that point. At what point did you feel like the game was over, or that you had it pretty well in hand?
Not until that interception in the second quarter with a couple seconds left, because in my brain I'm thinking, and I'm always doing math. I'm thinking, man, if I throw an interception, he gets a quick touchdown. It's just a two-score game, and then the nerves in the Super Bowl, and my muscles will clench up. And again, Dan knows what he's doing with timeouts, and so when he threw that interception, I got a field goal to go up 23, and I'm like, okay, he's got to get two-point conversions and a touchdown just to tie it. I felt really good about that.
Okay. What about your play? It was I want to say it was your second drive in the first quarter. It was a fourth down, and you kicked a field goal on 4th and 1 to go up 10-0. What was the reason you kicked it instead of went for it? Which I mean, typically you go for it in those situations.
Yeah, I think if I was playing straw, I'd go for that. But with Dan, with how the game was going at that point, just to get a two-score lead on Dan, I didn't want to give him any momentum, and he probably knew what I was going to do short anyway. So it was just it was just like, let's get up 10 points here. I got the momentum. Let's not shoot ourselves in the foot, and we get ball at halftime. So let's get a two-score lead, and then we get the ball at halftime.
All right. And final question that I have: how does this stack up to wins with the Colts? I mean, this time, obviously you have a significantly better team than the Colts. How does this compare to those wins?
It feels different. It's definitely better to win with your favorite team, but to beat Dan in a Super Bowl is unique. So it feels different, but if beating Dan makes it worthwhile, I will say this, and I guess I'm going to take a moment to say there was a video put out this morning called SML Conspiracies or Theories, SML
I
Conspiracy
heard about
Theories.
that.
And I got to admit it, my wife rigged the wheel. My wife rigged the wheel. She wrote down Lions on every single spot. I didn't rig it. My wife rigged it, and she put it on each sticky note. And that's how the wheel was rigged. It was totally my wife's idea and
Wow.
not mine.
Wow, Matt's gonna have to
What
retract
what a
his statement from earlier.
what a coward to blame his wife.
Yeah,
My goodness.
she's in the chat. I hope she
Yeesh.
defends herself here in a second.
Oh,
My goodness. I feel sorry for her.
I just had to get it out there. I was surprised myself when I found out after the show, after the draft, that it was rigged.
She says, "Wow, hope you locked the
Here's
door,
Furious
Prime."
strikes again.
Yeah, Prime. I'm going to ask you one more. I only get one more question. Mike FML just DM'd me a very threatening message that if I don't shut up and let you advance, he's going to come after me. But was there ever a time during this game that you were aware that Dan was not within ratio, or that he was close and couldn't be passing it?
No, I wasn't. He paused. I think he paused
He
in the
did.
third quarter, and I was like, oh, I wonder if he's thinking that I was running it too much. Is what I thought. Like, because I felt like I had ran it a lot because I didn't. I was afraid that I got too run happy because I had a lead, and then I checked. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good. So I didn't think about it at all. Honestly, I was just so locked in on stopping him that. And the next play, as corny as it sounds, the next play, I didn't even know how many passes or runs he had called.
Yeah, well, we were all very well aware, and Dan certainly surprised us all. But hey, before we let you go, and geez, hopefully you make it to where you're able to advance before your wife gets a hold of you after that comment. Anything you want to say to the league, your league, as we end season 75?
Hey man, I appreciate Bomber, Matt commentating the game, Dan, just joining in the chat afterward. It's not fun after a loss. I know it's not. Thanks guys who make the SML great. 27-time champion, 3 of the last 4, primetime 000. My wife wants me to say Taylor Swift new album coming out tonight. Got to plug that for her.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Lions, Super Bowl 75 champions, Season 1 of Madden 26. We'll be back really soon with more action as we're advancing here pretty quickly. So have a great night, everybody.